Hi, everybody. It's Leslie Denny with Yoga Oceanside for Chair Yoga today. So I'm glad you're joining us, and I hope you're having a great day. I don't know where you are. That was Merlin. He just knocked over the screen, so I'll put that up in a second. But anyway, the weather here is fabulous. I hope it's great weather where you are as well. Offset, they're helping me straighten up the screen, so thanks. Anyway, so come join me on the mat so I can share with you what I got to share with you today. You're going to need a block, and you'll also need a strap to work through our practice today. Bottle of water if you need it. And I'm also using essential oils today. And my oil of choice today is neroli. It is from the bittersweet orange tree, and it's extremely calming, but uplifting oil. So if you're using an essential oil that you like to use, then feel free to put that on. I've also been diffusing lavender and lemon in the house today, and it smells just really calming and settling, and it's lovely. And I love to diffuse oils. They're just so nice because you can change off whatever you want, and I just be passively inhaling the benefits of that. So anyway, thanks for coming today. I really appreciate it. The thought that I had to share with you today, I don't have an author. It was one of those images that I found and brought it up, but it really resonated with me. And the phrase is, "Truth and patience are those rides which never let their rider fall, neither at anyone's feet nor in anyone's eyes." And truth and patience are two things that have been real cornerstones of my life these days. Kind of living in my own truth in spite of the fact that the world seems like it's upside down. And then being very patient for things to unfold in their time and not mine. Challenging to do. I've been getting like occasional emails from the folks that I used to work with before the pandemic came through, and asking me, if we do this or we do that, would you be willing to come back to work for us, and changing kind of the paradigm, which all businesses have to do, and sitting back in my truths and wondering, is that where I want to be, and trying to figure out kind of what my truths will be once the world really starts opening back up again. And then being patient with waiting for that time. That's probably the hardest part for me, is that I'm a planner, and once I have a plan, I usually like to push forward on it. I like to do it as well as I can and get it done. And right now, it seems like I can't plan on anything other than dinner. And that is where a benefit from all of this came from. For years, I very rarely am home except for the weekend for dinner, because I teach primarily in the evenings. I teach throughout the whole day, but when I was teaching on a regular schedule, I was teaching in the evenings a lot. So John, being a very self-providing husband, I mean, he can do it all, was fine, but we didn't get an opportunity to sit down except for really moving into the weekend to be able to have a meal together. It was always too late for me to sit down for a dinner. And early in the years of our marriage, then it was sometimes just the opposite, where I was the one who was home early and he was still at the hospital and working. And so he would be coming home too late for dinner. And this is one thing that has unfolded in this time, is we're having dinner together every night. I will tell you that I find it kind of exhausting, because I'm not really good in the kitchen and I don't enjoy cooking that much. And I know that for some people that's like, don't tell me that. But I'm just not a great chef. And I'm more of what I've always called the Garanimals type of kitchen cooker. If you remember Garanimals, it was like if you saw a giraffe on a pair of shorts and a giraffe on a shirt, you knew that they went together. Well, that's kind of the way I am with cooking. If I have a recipe to follow in place, I pretty much know what to do. Otherwise, I was always had my go-tos, things that I would eat on a regular basis. Now the world has opened up where all of a sudden I'm getting vegetables that sometimes I don't even know what they are, much less what to do with them. And making these plans for dinner, trying to be consistent, creative, inventive, and open. And then it started to open up a universe where my friends knew that, I didn't know what the heck to do with some of these things. And so started receiving nice recipes and stuff to do with some of the foods that I was getting, because I'd hold up like an eggplant and say, what am I going to do with this thing today? And it has opened up this universe that has been so delightful that when I sit in my truths, I realized that, yeah, things aren't the same as what they were not that long ago. But that doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means they're different. And different and change is always good, because it allows for a doorway to open up that will offer you an opportunity to see, feel, and experience things that you didn't even really dream about before. At the end of the day, I'll never really look forward to going into the kitchen and cooking. It's just never been something I've enjoyed. I do it as a sense of need and fulfillment. I need to. But I'm learning how to live in the moment. And because I'm a planner, I actually appreciate that I've been given something that I can plan on. Planning out a meal is a big deal. Especially when you get items that you're not sure what to do with. So when I equate that to our practice, I think truth and patience are big cornerstones of what we do here on the mat. Being truthful to what feels good and right to us, and being patient that when certain things don't unfold the way that we want them to, that we have the patience to be able to take a moment, take a breath, and then find a new truth for that. Either being steady and holding on until it turns out where we're able to do a pose, or realizing that we kind of need to change gears a little bit. Kind of like on the dining thing for me, I'm having to change a lot of different gears, but it ceases to be uncomfortable anymore. And that's what happens when we first start to explore things that we need to do differently, say, for instance, in our yoga practice. When I was first approaching the kitchen and I was getting this first big box of vegetables, I knew exactly what to do with the celery, and I knew what to do with the carrots. I could clean them, chop them up, and put them to the side. But when it came to the sweet potato and the eggplant and the acorn squash and all of these other vegetables that arrived, I didn't know what to do with those. And I was impatient at first. It was like, if they hadn't sent me that, and I wonder if I could just tell them, can you just send me celery and carrots? But I knew that wasn't going to go over well. So I started realizing that I just have to have some patience and it will work out. And sure enough, everything started working out. And now I actually look forward to that box of vegetables. I may not look forward to prep and all of the wherewithal in the kitchen, but that's an offshoot of what I have to do to be able to take care of the arrival of what I consider to be these beautiful gifts of vegetables. And that too is like our yoga practice. In order to glean the benefits from some of the poses, sometimes we get a little impatient. Sometimes we get a little uncomfortable. But so long as we're not in pain, then usually if we just kind of drift with it and have that patience, things will start to open up and we will find something new. Just like I found new things to do with an eggplant that I never knew before, you might find some new things to do with your yoga postures that you never knew before. So let's come to a comfortable seated posture and just work your way back into the chair. If you are using an oil, feel free to put one on. If you like to play a little music during our class, then feel free to pop some music on. And just kind of relax yourself into that chair. And then as you do, just kind of drop the chin to your chest and initially feel a little bit of stretch through the neck, and then maybe roll the head from one side to the other. We're not rolling it all the way around. We're just kind of going into those little half circles. And then as you lift the head, get some shoulder circles up and around and check in. And as you relax into your chair, that full support, just relax everything. Relax through your jawline, your shoulders, all the way down to your belly and your feet. Just let everything go. And maybe in these opening moments, just think of truth and patience. Kind of telling ourselves that we're going to live our truth in our practice today. And we'll have patience to find that truth whenever it's ready to unfold. Maybe repeating a phrase that really resonates with you in your mind to create that intention. And then begin to notice the sounds around you. You might hear someone else moving around the house, or you might hear a little creak, the house settling, your home settling. You might hear the click of a clock, a tick of a clock. And you might hear sounds outside. A car driving by, the wind blowing through the trees, maybe a distant wind chime. It could be voices of people walking up the street. Just listen to the sounds inside and outside your home. And then begin to replace those sounds with the sound of your breath. And as you hear that breath moving in and out of your body, allow it to be the guiding force. Notice how deep the breath goes, how long it takes to exhale. And draw the hands to the heart and maybe issue that intention once again in your mind. And then as you inhale, keep pressing palm to palm and push the arms up, inhaling, and then exhale into your forward fold. Inhale to chair pose. And exhaling into forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, draw the hands to heart. Inhale, push the arms out and up. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale to chair. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach out and up. And exhaling, hands to heart. A little different sun salutation, but we'll do 4 more. Inhale, push the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to chair. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, reach up. And exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, push the arms up, really stretch. Exhale, fully release into that forward fold. Inhale, tighten up your belly as you reach into that chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhaling, hands to heart. We got 2 more to go. Inhale, push the arms up. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale to your chair. And exhaling into forward fold. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, hands to heart, and a last flow here. Breathe out, in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, reach up, and breathe out. Excellent. Then relax the arms to the side and reach up one hand and just place it behind your head. This is that neck strengthener. So you're holding the hand in a static position, just without moving it, and pushing the back of your head into your hand. And what this does is it strengthens up the neck muscles. So just hold it in place. You can be faced forward or to the side, whatever feels best for your neck. Good. Take 1 more deep breath as you're pushing that head right into your hand. And then release the arm. And with the next inhale, reach the arm up and place it behind your head. And 3 breaths here as you push that head right into your hand. Good. And then just 1 more breath right there. You're doing great. And then relax the arms to the side. With the next inhale, reach those arms up, push the palms to the sky, and draw the arms out in front of you. Then drop the chin to the chest and roll the head over to one side and then to the other. And that just creates a little bit more stretch throughout that upper back. Good. And then release the arms to the side. With the next inhale, sweep the arms up, exhale into forward fold. If it's comfortable, draw the arms out from the shoulders, long, flat back, and you're squeezing those shoulder blades towards each other. And then release into forward fold. With the next inhale, reach up, exhaling, hands to heart center. So as you move into that, try not to lift the head. I'll give you a side view on that one. For the next inhale, sweep the arms up, exhale into your forward fold. Flat back stretch, keeping that head down a little bit, and then release into forward fold. Inhale, reach up, and exhaling, hands to the heart center. And just 1 more there. We're really warming the body up today. Inhale, reach. Exhale to forward fold. Extend those arms out to the side. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Then release into your forward fold. With the next inhale, sweep the arms up and exhaling, hands to heart center. Excellent. With the next inhale, reach the arms up. Try to extend one leg out and then exhale. Draw the arms down and foot back to the block. Inhaling, arms up, and extend the opposite leg out, and then exhale, draw it back down. And just keep alternating. Remember, if it feels better, you can move that block out to the side and just work with your feet down to the mat. And sometimes that does feel a little bit better for some of us. because then the chair is actually supporting the back of your leg a little bit more, which takes load off of your low back. Sometimes it feels a little uncomfortable when you have that block in the way. So just keep alternating from side to side. Good. We're going to do 2 more to each side. And notice if you need the support of the back of your chair. If you feel like you're going to be working on your abs at a little deeper level, then you may want to scoot yourself away from the back of the chair. Good. And then 1 more extension from here. Good. And then release and just swish those knees from side to side and relax the shoulders right along with them. That was great. Good. So with the next movement, we're going to take those feet nice and wide apart and then move my stuff out of the way. I have a tendency to knock things all over the place, as you have seen in the early part of class. And as I take my feet nice and wide apart, I'm going to press into the balls of my feet and lift the heels. So sometimes we'll start to get a little bit of a cramping in the calf. And if you do, just drop those feet back in or take them back in. And when you lift those heels, notice if your knees feel okay. We're going to be doing our oblique work. Remember, the obliques are a portion of the abdominal structure that actually crisscross on either side of your midsection to the back body. So keeping those obliques strong means that when we work that, you're going to be working all of the abs. You can't just really zero down on one particular muscle group. It's pretty challenging. So with the next inhale, reach the arms up, and as you exhale, draw that one elbow down and just feel that crunch. You could hear it in my voice where I started to feel that compression, and then work the opposite side. Good. Just keep inhaling to lift, exhale to crunch into that side body. And we're going to keep alternating from side to side. So with the inhale, reach. Exhale, draw that rib cage in and crunch. Inhaling, reach. Exhale, rib cage in and crunch. We're going to do 4 more to each side. So we started here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Good. Inhaling, reach. Exhale, crunch. Good. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. 2 more to each side, and really focus on your effort. Just work at the range that feels best to you, where you feel like you're connecting with that flow. Good. And 1 more to the opposite side. Good. Then reach both arms up. Heels are still up. Sweep those arms down in front. Inhale, reach. Exhale to sweep. Don't tumble too far. You just want to make sure that you're anchored to your chair. So my hindquarters are pretty far back into the chair, because that'd be just awful if I went into a tuck and roll for you live. And then 1 more big sweeping motion, and draw those arms down and in. And then as you sweep the arms up, draw the hands to heart center. And just keep lifting those heels nice and strong, pressing into the balls of your feet, keeping the hands at the heart, and take 2 more breaths. Good. And then either with the heels up or down, inhale, draw the arms out, exhale, back in. So when we do this flow, notice if you're starting to feel some low back tension. If you are, just releasing the heels down will sometimes alleviate that, or sliding your hips farther to the back part of your chair. So whatever feels best to you. Inhaling, open, exhaling, close it back down. Trying to keep the elbows up to shoulder height, but for some of us, that starts to become too much of a struggle for the tops of your shoulders. So by all means, go to where you can go so that you're embracing all of your truth in the practice that you have, so you can hang on to patience throughout it. Good. And 1 more flow here. And then draw those elbows down and bring them down into your chest right here. This is a little bit different stretch. If you remember when we do the eagle arms, we get more into the traps. Here, we're pulling into the tops of the upper arms and the deltoid muscles. So just hold on and keep pressing those elbows against each other, palm to palm. Bring those elbows down and into the chest best you can. Take 2 more breaths. Less of it's too much. Good, and then release it all. Heels down, draw shoulder towards the opposite knee, and just keep working it from side to side. Nice big stretch. That was a lot of work to start off our practice with today. How are you feeling? Good. And just keep flowing it from side to side. Good. Excellent. And one last stretch there, and then draw those feet in. Grip your block with the insides of your feet. Hold on nice and tight at whatever width feels best for you. I'm going to walk my hips right back to the back part of the chair. And as I'm holding on to this block, I'm going to be working into a chair pose with arm movement. So judge your chair with that hinge of the hips based on what your low back feels good with. Let your low back tell you this is good or this isn't, and modify accordingly. So with the next inhale, reach the arms up, exhaling, hinge forward into that chair pose. Notice that I'm not lifting my head, I'm actually looking down towards my feet. I'm still gripping the block, and I'm gonna bend the elbows and draw the elbows out to the side and back. So now I'm really working those upper back muscles. Good. Inhaling to stretch, exhale to draw them out to the side and down, and just keep flowing. Inhaling, lengthen, exhale, draw it down and in. Good. You've got 4 more to go. Less if that feels like it's too much, always. 3 more to go. 2 more. And 1 more here. And then release. And you can relax your feet off of the block. You can rest them back on the block if you'd like, because we're going to do a couple of arm stretches now. So draw one arm out and back. And remember, I'm not turning the torso to accommodate that arm being brought back. I'm continuing to keep that torso facing the screen. As I draw the arm back, I'm going to draw the chin to my chest. And when you do that, you're probably feeling a big stretch in that upper portion of your back, right there at the base of the neck. And then roll the head over to the side slightly. You're not rolling it all the way over or pushing it. You're just going to where you feel a little bit different location of that stretch, which should be at the upper portion of the back on the side where the arm is lifted. And just take 1 more breath. And always, if that's starting to feel uncomfortable, just drop the chin to the chest, or you can lift the head, because we've got some work going on here by keeping that arm raised, right? You're starting to pick up some tension right here. So just take 2 more breaths. Excellent. And then go ahead and release that arm down and just let it hang like a little marionette's arm, and just kind of waggle and circle just however it wants to move. Good. Then switch it to the other side. Did you notice that you could feel like this shoulder that you just worked is a little bit lower than the other? That's typically what it feels like, because we just released a lot of shoulder muscle tension in that area. So draw the other arm out and back, and then chin to chest. We're holding here for a couple of breaths before we move the head. So just keep feeling that stretch in the upper back. And then when you're ready, rolling the head ever so slightly in the opposite direction away. You're going to feel that into the upper trapezius muscles. The trapezius is in that upper portion of the back. It's a fairly sizable muscle, and it has those little fingers that reach into the back of the cervical vertebra and the back of your neck. And so this helps relieve some of that neck tension. And remember to keep modifying it. So if you got to give back a little bit to it, that's fine. If you got to draw out all the way, that's fine. find your truth so that you can have patience in the stretch. And then gently release. Chin to chest, lift the head. And shoulder circles up and around. That's good. That's a lot of, I've found that when things are like I'm working at staying abreast of change in life, then I usually get it right up here in my neck. That's usually where I feel it. So those types of stretches are really great stretches to do to try to release tension from your neck. And you did great. That was really good. So let's come to a standing posture to do some balance today. And make sure you're close to your chair as you do. We're actually going to go ahead and move into a little bit of a quad stretch. So when we move into a quad stretch, I'm actually going to come around to the front so you can see me a little better. We're going to keep one hand on the chair. And if you're comfortable grabbing onto the foot like so and stretching through the quad, otherwise, feel free to loop your strap around your ankle and then grab onto the strap to give you a little bit of support. So this is where the strap can really come in handy. So when you come to the back of your chair, which you already are, hold on to the chair with one hand, turn to the side, then grab that outside leg, either with a strap or with your hand holding on to it. And notice where you feel it. If you feel it in your knee, then you probably want to use the strap and not bend the knee as much. So you have that option. And take your time getting there, because if you're using the strap, it is a little tricky. And then once you've found the stretch point for that quad that feels good to you, test your balance. See if you set arm or even chair back just a little bit. Sometimes when we're just beginning to test our range and our balance, you want to keep the hand close by so you can grab back onto the chair. And then over time, as you get used to it, you may be able to release that arm out or reach it up overhead. There's nothing to say that one way is better than the other. The way that is best is in your truth and what you are able to do. So stay within that. Just really embrace that. And then just take one more breath. And then release. That was great. Switch it to the other side, and either with your strap or holding on to it, just move into that stretch. And then hang on to it and test your balance a little bit. If you feel like you could move that hand away a little bit at a time, just check in. Remember, you've always got that chair, and you can always drop the foot right away, whether you've got the strap on it or not. Just give yourself a breath or two. And then release. That was really great. So now that we stretched through the quads, which is the tops of your thighs, we'll be ready for those hamstring stretches. It just gave them a little bit more space. Inhaling, reach up. Exhale into your forward fold. And then go ahead and walk those feet back. Press the heels down into the mat. And first, just lean forward a little bit. So notice that I'm just bringing my weight forward, but I'm keeping my elbows pressed up against the chair back so that I'm still supported and I'm not losing my balance. My heels are flat down to the mat. And just take one or two more breaths. Good. And then step one foot forward, your foot of choice, whichever was the first one that you said, I think I'm going to step that foot forward. Go ahead and step it forward. Anchor in, and you're starting to incorporate the stretch in the hamstrings on the back of that front leg, the leg that just stepped forward. If you're feeling like you've got a really good stretch going on right there, then just hang on. Otherwise, start to flatten out through the back, and you'll feel that little transition. And as you start to lift the chest just a little bit and reach out through the top of your head, you'll increase that stretch right in those hamstrings.
You may have noticed that by stretching the quads first, you actually feel like you're a little looser in those hamstrings than you were last week when we did this. And that's by design. When we stretch one muscle group, that will give more space for other muscle groups that work with it. Good. And then go ahead and bend through that front knee and roll yourself up. Heels are still both to the mat. I'm starting to pull into the hip flexors here. And then one or both arms up. It's all up to you. Where do you feel like, and remember, if you just want to kind of grab onto that chair and keep holding there, it's okay. This is your time. And it's really hard for us sometimes to find our truth in a practice, because so often we're tempted by what others are doing. And yet this whole practice is about you finding your truth and being authentic to it. And then when you join with others to do the practice, like what we're doing, there is the yoga. It's in the union of us together that creates the practice mostly. Good. And then release back into that pyramid pose. So your feet haven't changed and you're just dropping the hands back down and then stretching through that spine once again. And then when you're ready, step off to the front foot. I have to be careful. I've got a lot of junk behind me right now, including that big board. So I'm gonna kind of lean forward a little bit. I'm actually gonna bring my chair a little farther forward so that I don't crash into something again. And as I lift that leg and I'm feeling that stretch right there, I'm feeling a lot of muscular tension and some stretching. The stretching is through my spine as I'm reaching out to the crown of my head. Now, whatever leg is lifted, if you're comfortable reaching out that opposite arm, either out to the side or in front, or if you want to, keep holding on to the chair. And just take about 2 more breaths. Good. And then release from there and round the back and roll it up. That was great. Take a breath in your standing mountain pose. Excellent. And then inhaling, reach up, exhale into your forward fold, stepping both feet back and pressing the heels down into the mat. And then leaning into it once again, making sure that you're still bracing those elbows against the chair back. And then when you're ready, stepping the opposite foot forward. I almost did the same one again. Anchoring the feet, keeping those hips nice in line. And the way we know whether those hips are in line is, do you feel compression in the low spine? Do you feel a little pinch in that low back? If you do, then try to realign or reposition the hips somewhat. And then lengthen through that flat back and reach out to the crown of your head. Good. And then as you soften into that front knee, round the back and roll yourself up first to your warrior one. Good. And then 1 or 2 arms up, whatever feels best to you. If you need to hold on to that chair, find your truth. What is best for you today? And today I'm just going to hold on to my chair. Yeah, it seems like I'm knocking a lot of things over today. That is the essence of our world here. Is that I either fall or knock into stuff a lot because I'm never paying attention to where I'm going. I'm just moving through life with abandon and destroying everything in my wake. And just take 1 more breath. Good. And then release back into that pyramid pose. And then when you're ready, step off to that front foot, lifting that back leg. And then from here, opposite arm either reaches out to the front, to the side, or just hold on to the chair, whichever feels best.
And just give yourself a few breaths here. Remember, if you need to dial back and drop that leg down and say, I don't want to do this anymore, then you don't have to, because this is your practice and you're going to live within your truth today and find the things that work best for you. And just take one more breath there and then gently release, round the back and slowly roll it up. Good. You didn't think I'd let you get away without working your ankles, right? So press into the balls of your feet, lift the heels up and embrace that balance, either holding onto the chair or one or two arms up to you, remember, and then slowly lower and then lift and lower a few more times. And you can raise the arms up on that lift if you like, and then lower them back down if you like. So inhaling to lift, exhale to lower, two more. Good. And then come back to a seated posture. Good. Run back to your seat. Get some water if you need it. Yeah, it's nice to hydrate throughout your practice. I remember one of the first practices I ever taught. This is at gym. Hello, Merlin. A gal came up to me and she said, well, I've heard that you're never supposed to drink water when you're doing yoga. And I said, I don't think I could survive if I didn't drink water during yoga. So I'm okay with you drinking water. And if anybody tells you you can't, you can just go ahead and send them in my direction, because I'll tell them that you can. So you drink water and stay hydrated. So for the next movement, I want you to keep your feet on the block. And then just rest the hands to the tops of your knees. And just feel, as you close your eyes, feel the alignment of your spine. And then breathe fluidly. Just kind of feel that breath moving in and out of your body. Great. And then go ahead and release by stepping one foot out to the side. One foot is still on the block. One foot is down off the block. And then we're going to just graze the forearm across the leg that's bent to the side. And then reach that opposite arm up and over. Nice big stretch for the side. Now, sometimes when we move into this, especially if we have tight back muscles, we tend to rotate a little bit. And so that would mean that you'd come up and out a little bit. So if you can feel the stretch in the back at all, then think about coming up and opening up that shoulder a little bit more, rolling it open somewhat, and then move back into the stretch. Yeah. If you feel it directly to the side, that's where we want to feel it, right on that lateral side. And then just keep stretching. And you're going to feel that stretch go right into the top of your pelvic bone right here, where you have these little attachment points of muscles. And just take a couple more breaths. And then slowly release from there and switch it to the other side. Rest that forearm to the leg and then sweep the other arm up and over to the side. Easy stretch, but noticing where you feel it. That's one of the most important components. And the reason that why I say that for today is that when we rotate and then go into almost like a fold, that's not necessarily a positive experience for your spine. So your spine is meant to like bend from side to side, forward and back, rotate, but it's not meant to rotate and bend. That puts a different, very negative compression on the spine. So for this, we're just trying to open up space on both side bodies and then release from there and come back with your feet to the block. With the next inhale, reach the arms up, press the palms to the sky and draw those arms back out. And again, drop the chin to your chest. And you may notice that you feel looser than you did when you did this the first time. We've done a lot of work to open up things. So just kind of notice where you feel it. And then roll the head very slowly, just a hair to one side. So I'm barely moving that head, but I can feel a little more stretch on the opposite shoulder. And then bring the chin to the chest and roll it just very slightly over the other side. Good. And then chin to chest, and then slowly lift the head and relax the arms and shoulder circles up and around. That was great. How does it feel? It's nice to check in and find out how you felt, because that's very reflective of living in your truth. If everything felt good today, you're living in the paradigm of the practice that is best for you, and good for you for doing that. So let's do a little bit of a hip stretch here. And if you're comfortable crossing an ankle over the opposite leg, otherwise, remember that little extra point is just to rest the outside edge of your foot to the block. And then lean forward with that flat back until you find you've got that stretch right into the outer hip on where the leg is bent. Good. So we have had lizards abundance in the backyard. I saw 2 of them sparring yesterday. It was really outright sparring with each other. They were getting in quite the little battle with each other. And I thought, this is getting a little ugly. Let's all try to live in harmony back here. But they weren't having any of it. And just keep lengthening through the spine and stretching into that hip. Remember that so many of our stretches, it's just such a benefit to hang on to them for a little while so that your body really realizes the benefit from the actual stretch. When we hold them for too short of a period of time, it's hard to get the benefit from it because the body hasn't really figured out that, it hasn't received that full message from the brain saying, go ahead and start letting go. It feels good. And then release and switch it to the other side. Kind of measure out whether you would rather go ahead and rest the outside edge of that foot to a block. If that's the case, feel free to make that modification for yourself. And just keep lengthening through that spine best you can to feel the stretch in that hip. This is one of my favorite stretches. Always feels really good to me. There's one more breath here, and then we're going to be making use of that strap. And then go ahead and release. That was great. If you need to keep your feet on the block or your book, whichever, and then grab your strap and take it behind you. So you're going to slide your hips to the back of the chair as close as you can because we're going to go into chest expansion. And I like to have my hindquarters as close to the back of the chair as possible so I don't roll out onto the floor, which could happen if you lose your momentum or you get a little lightheaded. So if you do start to get a little lightheaded, pull out the stretch right away. Take your hands as wide apart as you need to be able to grab onto the strap behind you. For those of you that are comfortable clasping your hands behind your back, go for it. And remember, when you're holding the strap, you actually want to grab down in front of you, then bring those arms behind you, and that's the position that you're holding the strap on each side. Then relax through the neck and start to lift the arms. And as you lift the arms, if you feel like you're not getting that stretch into the upper back and the shoulders, take the hands a little wider apart and just keep leaning into it. If you can go much deeper, feel free. The deeper you go, you'll feel it lower into the spine, down into the low back. But don't necessarily think that a deeper stretch is a better stretch. So for me, I'm just going this far today. I'm going really minor. My little low back was bothering me yesterday. I don't know why, it just was. And so I'm going pretty light on this stretch today, just to make sure I'm taking care of myself. And that's living my truth and being patient with the fact that sometimes my back doesn't want to work with me the way I want it to work with me. Good. And then as you lift the chest up, just keep squeezing those shoulder blades together in the space that you were in. So you pulled those arms away from your back body, hold there, and just see if you can draw the hands a little closer together. If you can't, don't let that be a point of judgment or impatience. Just allow yourself to embrace wherever you are right now, because you're doing great. And just feel that stretch now moving across the chest line. Yeah, right into the pectoralis muscles and really opening up through the heart center. And take one more breath. Good. And then release. From here, give yourself shoulder circles up and around. Good, 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 good. And draw the arms in, elbow to elbow. You've done this. Draw those elbows down and into the chest and drop the chin to the chest. And I will bet that you feel that stretch even less in your upper spine. Tell me if I'm wrong. Been wrong before. But we have done so much to open up that upper back body that usually after doing that final chest expansion stretch, you'll feel a lot of relief in the upper portions of your spine at the low neck. And then slowly draw the chin to chest around to one side, not too far. And then slowly to the other. And then chin to chest, and gently lift that chest and shoulder circles up and around. How do you feel? We're going to go ahead and draw one more stretch for the backs of your thighs. So make sure that you're seated to the back part of the chair, strap at the end of the foot, and pull those toes towards you. I'll bet you are feeling it at the back of your calf as well. And then only lift the leg to the point that you feel the stretch of the back of your thigh, and just hold on to it for 3 breaths. And one more deep inhale. And exhale it out and switch it to the other side. And drawing that leg up, bringing the toes in towards you, lifting the leg to the point that you feel it at the back of your thigh, and then just holding on right there and taking 3 really deep breaths. And one more deep inhale. And exhale. Oh, you did really great today. Go ahead and put your straps to the side. If you're using an essential oil, feel free to put a little bit more of that on. And then for those that would prefer to lie down on the mat or to put legs up wall or make any other kinds of modifications that are best for you, feel free to move yourself into that pose. Get yourself nice and comfortable, and then close your eyes. Take a deep inhale and blow the air out. Truth and patience are those rides which never let their rider fall, neither at anyone's feet nor in anyone's eyes. When you are truthful and you're patient, you are fulfilling your true nature. You're living in the moments where you need to live for you. And it may not mean that you're doing the same thing as others.
but you're doing what's right for you. And that is what is so wonderful that extends from our yoga practice, is truth and patience. So keep releasing for the next few moments. It goes by so fast, our time together. And as you keep letting go, know that when it's time to come back, I will come for you. I promise. Take a breath and just sigh it out. What was your truth in your practice today? What required a little extra patience? And if you were able to find that truth and be able to embrace that patience, then your practice was perfect because you were living in your true nature and all of your authenticity. And remember, when we do that, we are embracing the fact that each and every one of us is unique and necessary to this world. Let's draw our hands to the heart. Lokaha samistaha sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy, free, and at peace. Namaste. Have a wonderful day. I hope the day doesn't require too much patience for you to enjoy it. And I will look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.